The story of a waterfall and a very important guy.
This waterfall supplies me with everything. Heat, lights, and all my necessary power to run my sawmill. It's my life. What else could I do without it?
We're on our way now to meet Oscar Berube. He's a middle-aged dropout, member of that rather typically BC breed of people. He's worked out a unique lifestyle for himself, and as far as he's concerned, there's no energy shortage. Oscar Berube has created a really remarkable place, and he's one of the most remarkable people I've ever met. 7 years ago, he and his wife, June, decided to quit the rat race in Vancouver and live the way they want to live in the mountains. But they had no money. How to earn a living? Berube decided to start with a waterfall. He's a mechanic, a handyman, a natural scrounger. The land itself, 70 miles north of Vancouver, is rocky, barren. Part of it is burned over by a forest fire. Most people considered it worthless. With a waterfall, Berube could create power, and with power, he could make a living. So he found this stream that wasn't doing anything in particular, and he managed to get himself up the mountainside. He built a bridge, got his equipment up there, dragged it up, 110 degrees in the summertime on the hot rocks, and finally he built a dam. But it wasn't easy.
The dam, well, we had a few problems with the first one I built. I got high water, and my top log broke. And down came the dam, water and all. And first thing we knew, we got no power.
Characteristically, the screens protecting the water intake are old bed springs, obtained in trade like everything else. It was Crown land, and the only way Berube could get it was to stake it as a mineral claim. The bureaucrats tried to kick him off, but he fought back. He's a tough guy, a descendant of the breed of early Western French-Canadian voyageurs. The pipe for the project came from a mine, free, but it had to be dragged up the mountainside. The water wheel he found lying in a field, 150 years old, left over from the gold rush. The power plant itself comes from an old salmon cannery, root of an old generator 5 feet high. Cost him almost nothing. Cost of the copper inside is scrap. And Oscar Berube says that the whole thing will be turning for a long, long time. In the meantime, he's got power to burn in his machine shop, his mill, and his electric home.
This old machine will be running a long time after we're gone. It came from Millard's fish cannery in West Vancouver. And as far as maintenance, I greased it a couple of years ago, and that's it. Don't have to grease it or do anything to it.
Berube is a sort of one-man revolution against the throwaway society. Lovingly, he cares for his hand-me-down equipment. Even the light bulbs around here are second-hand, removed from Vancouver traffic signals. floodlights come from railway locomotives. Nothing is wasted, even the junk that was on the place when they came there. His machine shop is a sort of pack rat's palace.
What's all the rest of this?
Well, I have various parts.
Junk to me.
Well, there's a lot of junk. Mind you, this is bearings. But if you go to buy them, they're not junk. There's bearings that I used on the water wheel. Well, a bearing like this, a new one would cost probably $75 to $100. Yet there's nothing wrong with it.
What would that lathe cost new?
Oh, new, I imagine for $20,000 anyway, if your first was to buy it. And mind you, it's not as late a model as you could have, but for my purpose here, it's got automatic shifting. You could change speed without removing gears and so on. And this is a brake machine for putting on brake lining on cats or cars.
And that thing over there looks like part of an old dentist's rig.
Well, I work at this in my spare time, you see.
As a dentist?
Well, not really. No, I actually was going to install a light. And wherever you put your light, it stays there. And was the idea of this thing. So I haven't got around to putting the light on there yet. But it was thrown out in the junk, and I picked it up, hoping to use it someday. And this is a spare motor for my vehicle, and this is the heating system. And this is an air compressor I use for spray painting or impact wrench. There's a spare motor for a four-wheel drive truck that I have outside. I got to install it. And a gas pump. And sometimes I do a little bit of blacksmith work, so I got an anvil over there. It's mostly, to look at it, it looks like a lot of junk, but it's all tools that you need in a workshop.
And outside a house that might cost $75,000 in town, the flower stand was made from an old hay rake. It's all been fun, but it's been hard work.
But all this, there was a lot more to it than just moving on and building a house or living here. This place, you couldn't get in here with a D8 cap. Those big stumps out in the yard, they used to call it Stump Hollow. All the loggers in this country, that's what the place was known as. And so I moved here with a moving van, and I lived in the van for a couple of months. By the 29th of November, in '66, I moved into my house, which wasn't finished, but it was more comfortable than the van. And after that, one thing to another, in the spring, I started working on power because I couldn't buy power from hydro.
And that's why you came here, because of that waterfall to get the
Oh,
power.
this is the only reason that I'm here is on account of the creek, the waterfall. This way I get all my heat, lights, power, you might say for free, other than the equipment I had to purchase to produce the power.
And for you, that was everything, but for other people, this was worthless land.
Oh my, you couldn't, I don't think they could have gave it away at that time when I first came here. And
How much have you invested in this place in actual dollars, cash dollars?
My God, it's very hard to determine because I do so much horse trading. I might paint somebody's car for a bit of lumber or for some labor or like my powerhouse. Well, the generator, I traded him a diesel unit and some old radiators off of Army tanks that I had and a few dollars, and that's it.
Make a guess. In actual cash,
Oh.
what have you put into the place?
10, 15,000, possibly, including the powerhouse and the house.
And what's it worth?
Oh, I'd say approximately 250,000, roughly. You know, if some guy came along and offered me 200,000 and said I could live here the rest of my life, well, I might even take him up on it. You never know. But to leave the area, I don't think I'd leave.
How much would you like to be worth? How much do you want to earn? I mean, you can make $650 a day out in your mill.
Providing it's running.
But how much do you want to earn? What's the whole point of it?
I'm not interested in making big money because you can't take it with you. And besides, if you make lots, the government only take it away, you know, income tax. So, so long as I make a good living, eat 3 times a day, and sometimes I have lunch before I go to bed, and get up when I feel like it and quit when I feel like it. And they claim the happiest man is one that can do what he wants when he wants. And my wife doesn't bother me too much, you know. Oh, once in a while I gotta maybe take a run into town to get her some things or something, but other than that, there's no problem. We really don't require much money to live here. There's no rent, there's no lights, there's no heat. There's nothing to worry about.
We have everything, all the conveniences of city living. We have everything we want or need, and except for cash, ready cash. But as Oscar says, we don't need too much of that to get by on.
How much would you like to have a month in cash? How much do you think you need?
I don't think I could answer that. I don't do the shopping, he does. I don't go to town.
What do you need?
I'm just waiting on the day when I can retire with this mini income. $200 a month? Mister, I live like a king.
If our society is going into times as tough as many people think, we need men like Oscar Berube. He's got a grade 5 education, but I wish he could be a teacher for my kids.